Well, thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for holding this important hearing, and thank you for the witnesses coming today. We look forward to hearing from all of you. I also want to thank the Chair for allowing us to do a field hearing last August in Seattle, Washington, that our colleague Senator Barrasso came out for, and we certainly appreciate both the field hearing and him joining us for that. We learned many things about the hearings that we've had so far, and we're going to learn more today. We have learned that there are actions that agencies can take and that communities can take to decrease the risk of forest fires. And we learned about the benefits of creating surge capacity to respond in these cases when we do have extreme events. But what has stood out most for me from one of the witnesses that we had in Seattle, Dr. Medler from Western Washington University, was that he explained, we have not seen the worst yet. This is something that requires immediate action. I want to thank John Weiss and Chief Burnett for being here today from the state of Washington. These are two people who are intimately familiar with these issues surrounding wildfires, particularly given our experience over the past 2 summers. In 2004, our state experienced the Carlton Complex, the worst fire in our state history. So earlier this year, when the committee began work on fire and discussing what we learned from that tragedy, we were scheduling listening sessions all across the state of Washington about what the federal government could do better and what we could do to help local communities. What we didn't realize at the time that we had scheduled those meetings is that 2015 was going to be an even more dramatic fire season. Almost 1 million acres in my state burned in about a month. That's an area the size of Delaware. So in addition to severe economic loss to the timber industry, the recreational economy, tribes, the firefighters of Washington State who suffered a tragic loss, these impacts are unbelievable. I want to say that the 3 Forest Service firefighters that were killed in the line of duty while protecting the communities in which they live were the best among us: Andrew Sajak, Richard Wheeler, and Tom Brzezewski. A 4th firefighter, Daniel Lyon, was severely burned in the encampment and has been going through recovery. So clearly, 2015 was a tragedy. As I've traveled across the state looking at various issues, I heard compelling stories from firefighters, business owners, and residents who lost their homes or had to evacuate, that what we needed to do better. Firefighters, county commissioners, Forest Service people, legislators all came forward with issues about coordination, response, making sure that fewer homes burn, making sure our firefighters are safer, proactively decreasing the intensity of these fires so that they can be better managed. And I know that colleagues that are present here today have experienced similar fire seasons in their states, such as Chairman Murkowski just mentioned. So unfortunately, there are only so many spots available on the witness table, or I'm sure that every one of us could have filled a whole table with people from our state who are stakeholders in this discussion. So before we begin, I'd just like to recognize a couple people who aren't at the table. From Aeroflight, Mike, if he's here, he can wave his hand, a company that is in Spokane, Washington, that the air tanker fleet is very important to how we fight fires, and continuing to improve that service with the Forest Service giving contracts, I think, is very important. I want to recognize Brian Gunn from the Colville tribe, who is also here. This summer, wildfires spread into the reservation and destroyed 20% of their timber. So a quarter of the tribe's economy is generated from timber. So to say that this was a big deal is an understatement. They lost upwards of $1 billion of standing timber. So this hearing is the 3rd in our committee that we've had so far since the wildfires of 2015. So I'm pretty sure that makes a record for the committee. I think it shows that we are serious about getting something done. And I want to thank Senator Murkowski for outlining some of the things that she and I believe that should be in a bill, ending the practice of fire borrowing so that we can actually do more in prevention and preparedness up front, improving the efficiencies of our operation, ensuring that the firefighters have the best equipment, and those in communities that are challenged by how broad the map has become have every resource available to them. Increasing community preparedness through activities such as FireWise and risk mapping, investing in fuel treatments that we know will make a difference, such as prescribed burn or mechanical thinning. And so Dr. Covington, I can't wait to hear from you today about this issue particularly, because I'm very interested and will show some maps about thinning success in Washington State and where it mattered in prevention, but also just this overlay as it relates to where our fires are with ponderosa pine. I really want to understand how we're going to protect our forests. And increasing our use of technology and including unmanned aerial vehicles to give us more information. And for us in the central part of the state, it's clear we need a new Doppler system to talk about high wind incidents, which we certainly experienced the day that our firefighters lost their lives. So all these are very, very important issues, and I'm pleased to be working with the chair on this. We've also had many conversations with our colleague Kathy McMorris-Rogers in the House of Representatives since her legislative district has been front and center in all of this. And I also want to just say that I know that while we've put out a white paper that we discussed in Seattle at our hearing, that there are many inputs that we have received along with what we're going to hear today. I hope, Madam Chair, that all of us on this committee of Western states can work together, because I think we see those who are represented here today understand that we do not want to face the 2016 fire season without better tools, without better processes, without better operations to help our communities and help our states. Thank you very much.